I'm back with another Blender video for you guys. This is an animation that I made using my son's voice as the dialogue. He's been completely obsessed with Spidey these days, so I thought it would be a great idea to base my next animation on that. My goal here was to continue to explore combining 2D and 3D elements, making it feel seamless. In this video, I'm going to quickly walk you through my entire process from beginning to end. So let's jump right into the first step. 3D Blockout. In this stage, my main goal is to block out a very simple 3D set. For this scene in particular, the first thing I did was I started with a floor. Then I added some walls and a window. And then finally I added a couch. For now, these are the basic elements that I need to get started. So the next thing that I'll do is create a camera and frame the shot. Now let's move on to design. When designing the background, I wanted it to feel like a warm, bright Saturday morning in a house that a toddler lives in. So the first thing that came to mind was a bright sky, wooden floors, and warm light seeping into the living room. I wanted this living room to have a real earthy, nature sort of vibe, so I painted over the 3D model of the couch with some olive green tones, and then I went on to add a beige rug, a wooden side table, and even this little houseplant. Once I had all the main background elements blocked in, I had a lot of fun playing with all the little details, the things that make this feel more like a home. And now for one of my favorite parts of the process, the characters. So I had sketched out this rendition of myself and my son a little while back, and I really liked the vibe. The next challenge was to pose them in the shot and make it feel natural. Once the posing is complete, I stop there and I head back over to Blender. 3D background painting. Now in my opinion, this step is a game changer. To achieve the classical 2D feel, I actually use no lighting. I'm simply modeling each element and then hand painting it. I'm referencing my layout and trying to stay as close to it as I can. It's definitely a tedious process, but when you're finished, you'll have a 3D background with a 2D feel. You can move the camera through the shot and capture any angle that you want. You could never do this with a flat 2D background. Now, if you're wondering just how I went about painting the background elements, I found this amazing free add-on called Paint System. I come from a 2D background and I'm used to painting in Photoshop, so this add-on made my life way easier. I'll drop the link in the description below and you can check it out. Let's move on to character animation. I first start off with a cube, roughly the size of my character. Then I block out the overall path of action, focusing on staging and timing. Once I'm happy with the motion, I then move on to animating the camera to follow the character. What I love about this technique is it allows me to take full advantage of the fact that I'm working in a 3D space. Once I'm happy with my cube animation, I start roughing out my character directly on top of the cube. And since the cube is moving in a 3D space, we don't have to worry about our character's scale as he moves through perspective. When my roughs are complete, I move on to tying down the character and putting him on model. Having my reference on screen helps a lot in this stage. When my key poses and breakdowns are tied down, I move on to in-betweening. Here's some sped up footage of what this stage looks like. Of course, I wish I could animate this fast, but unfortunately that's just not the case. When my character is fully cleaned up, I go through frame by frame and add color. And now we're almost there. All we gotta do now is add the web effects. Now when it comes to effects, I like to handle this with straight ahead animation. I find it keeps things feeling more fluid and organic. Then added some lettering to keep the comic book feel. Now I just need to hide my reference cube and my main character is finished. Now since my character is reacting to my son's character, I animate him second. I'm following the same principles and we're repeating the process.
I'm Spider-Man!
That was a quick glimpse at my entire process. I know Blender can feel completely overwhelming at times, but keep going. There's so much cool stuff to learn in this software. Now, if you found this video helpful, just do me one favor. Subscribe, hit that like button, and if you got a question, just drop it in the comments below. Alright, that about wraps it up for this video. I'll see you in the next one.